Well, it's been a pretty busy year, as you can see. I did live up to my promise and start rebuilding some of these jet skis, but I did a lot of it off camera because I was just trying to get them rebuilt and sold, and ended up kind of finding my niche. And what I've been doing is I restore the jet skis that are really worth it. I've got a lot of spare parts now because I bought all those jet skis, so I take everything I can and put it into one jet ski and make a really nice one out of it. Well, I've been able to do that with like 4 or 5 of them. But what I'm left with now is just the junk that's left around in my yard, and I do have enough parts and pieces. I think I can put a couple together. Just rollers, you could say. We'll get them started up and running, and I just want to get them the hell out of here. Make some money and sell these damn things. So let's go to the backyard and pick one out. So here's my stash of jet skis. That's an old 300. That's a 440. Here's the one I'm thinking of grabbing. It's a 1979, 78. Alright, well, this is everything laid out on the floor. I got beat up ugly jet ski I'm going to clean up here in just a second, and then all these parts I'm going to start going through and shove in this jet ski, and then whatever is left that I need. I've got this parts ski over here I can pick from, and the trash can over here I'm also going to pick from. So let's get started. Okay, so just a quick pass with the vacuum. Things I'm looking for is that all my little strap hooks are there. We got 4 there, and I should have 4 there, and 1 up in the nose for the water box. I'm looking at all my motor mounts, make sure I got all the hardware and these things aren't ripped. So all 4 good motor mounts, all 4 have hardware. This is all mounted up in there. I'm going to bypass the fuel valve. I'm going to use this primer if it works. Maybe not. These need to get glued in. These rubber pads are fine. So I need to find a water box and some straps, a gas tank and some straps, fuel line, and we'll also get started on this drive shaft. Whoops, I didn't film. So just a real quick update, catch you up where I left off. Drive shaft is siliconed and stuffed in there, and I've got 2 shims on the top. They always need those shims. Electric box, I found some hardware to mount this thing up, and use the correct one, a lock washer and a flat washer on each one, so everybody's got the right hardware. Same with down there. I am using the original first gen bilge siphoning system that has the anti-siphon up here because I don't want to use it later when I restore that one. It's got the retrofitted modern, I guess you could call it, style, the newer style. So I'm using up the old parts on this guy. So there's the bilge down there. Got the engine ground cable hooked up. And while you weren't looking, I stuffed that water box in there and the filler neck. And that's always cracked and broken, so I needed to put in a new plastic filler neck, silicone that on. That's fine, I had one anyway. So it's in there with my ugliest water box straps, my ugliest filler neck in my ugliest water box with the ugliest water box hose. So the exhaust is done. Next coming in here is going to be the engine, but that's also going to be the last step because I want to get it fired up. So I'm going to transition a bit, lift this thing up off the ground so I can get the pump and ride plate and all that in there. And I need to make a decision what ride plate and intake grate I'm going to use. I'm thinking, I don't know, stock? I used up all my stands, so the only thing I got left is this ice chest. Okay, come back. So pump ready to go in. Bolted up this end cap, found some fasteners for it, siliconed it down. Cleaned all the grease out of here and just reused the old seals, but they're cleaned up too. And then I got a bead of silicone all the way around the opening of this thing, so it's ready to go in. There's my bolts over there. They're Loctited up and ready to go in. I just need to put some anti-seize on the threads for that impeller and she's ready to go up. Okay, so at this point I'm about an hour into this. I got the motor in, water box in, and all the exhaust stuff and fill stuff kind of tidied up. The electrics are run and up to the electric box. I need to deal with the hand pull stuff. And then of course that steering looks pretty bad. So what's left now in here is unfortunately a lot of the tedious stuff that doesn't bear putting on video. You're gonna watch me do a bunch of zip ties and hose clamps and tightening screws. So let me get caught up on this, bring you guys back in just a second. Pipe I'm gonna go with is this no-name chrome steel something pipe. See these on eBay all the time, they're like $100 bucks. I've had a few of them, they usually rust out after a while, but they do work, they make some power. So I figured this ski's ugly and I'm not doing any work to restore it, so anything I can do to add value, maybe make it easier to sell. So we're gonna have a cool pipe. We've got this look-alike K&N here. Some, I think that's real hydro turf. Got some reasons this thing should sell. Okay, I'm on the fuel tank now. I'm just gonna bypass that fuel valve, run the carburetor straight off of the fuel tank, but these carburetors still involve the water separator, so I'm just gonna do some used old black Kawasaki tubing because I had it and it's free. I've already measured these out. There's a 9-inch piece that goes to the pulse line on the case. The 10-inch line goes to your water separator. The 14 goes to the tank, and then the 32 is your return. All you have to do is run the carb and the fuel tank with that water separator in between. 3 items, 4 hoses. It's a piece of cake. All right, just got this tidied up. The switches were already up here, so I just reassembled this switch housing. It's missing a screw, but put everything together right with grease, and then zip tied all the cables and the throttle cable, which doesn't seem to be working very well. Oh, that's right, it's not hooked up. So steering's all put together. Finished all this up. Just some little odds and ends I still need to go through and zip tie it, but I'm at a point where it can fire up. So right now I just got my lithium sitting up here. Obviously that's not where they go, but I'm going to make sure I got a ground cable between the engine and the electric box and that everything's hooked up. So the way I'm going to do this is I just bottle feed it. This goes straight into the fuel pump with some fuel. Put a little splash down there, simulate like a primer, but I do leave the return hooked up, so any excess spills right into the tank. I think this bad boy's ready to go. Let's fire it up. Well, there you have it. Another jet ski done in the 415 Motorsports stable. This one's not perfect. It needs a lot of work. There's plenty of work for somebody else to be done, but it'll ride. You know, the engine runs, the pump works. I greased everything. The seals are all proper. Everything that functions, functions. So there's no reason it can't ride. Somebody just needs to register it and go out and have fun, but it could be restored. It really needs it. She's in a kind of ugly shape and just wants a loving home. So that's what I'm going to do next, is just kick her on down the road for the next owner to enjoy and do something cool with. Let's pull the next ski out of the yard and see what I can do with it. The ski I'm working on here is a 1986 JS300. The previous owner was moving out of his shop and selling off his projects to pay for more important things, like court fines. So I was able to pick up 7 jet skis from him, and this was just one of the skis in the bunch. This was his youngest kid's ski. They had to pause mid-project. It was fully disassembled, primered up top, and the bottom was almost finished. Just needed color sanding and clear. Every part and fastener was organized by sections and wrapped up like white girl in little baggies. As fastidiously organized as he was, he somehow lost big things like the hand pull and exhaust tail cone. I had a hand pull, and I was able to find a pipe online. A couple expensive parts like that could completely ruin somebody's ability to make a profit flipping this ski. Since I got it cheap, anything I can do to increase value for the next guy is a plus for both of us, and I didn't mind giving my small contribution towards somebody finishing this project. Even though I wasn't restoring this ski, I was repairing little things as I went, broken wires or loose parts, and you still have no idea what the next guy knows, so I paid particular attention to the few maintenance items that get neglected often, like greasing the drive shaft and pump, lubing the steering and cables, and zip tying everything all tidy out of the way. I needed to scrounge my parts stash for a few random fasteners, a ride plate, a fuel tank, a coupling damper, and a flame arrestor, but there was still one part keeping me from getting it running today. I stopped filming when there wasn't anything left to do, and it still wasn't going to fire up on camera. It was completely assembled, but because it was missing the spark plug wire, it wasn't going to start and run. At this point, I needed to come inside and do some research. Could I band-aid a new wire on the coil, or do I need to find a very obscure coil? I brought both skis outside for a few glamour shots, quick threw up a couple ads on Marketplace, and had buyers picking them up before I could even get changed to take the 440 out for a test, which is how I meant to end this video. But instead, I flipped a couple jet skis. One, somebody else's unfinished project. The other, an empty hole I had in my yard that I Frankensteined together with some spare parts from around the shop. And neither of them was worth too much the way I got them, but by putting them together right, taking care of some little repairs and maintenance items, plus throwing in some good parts here and there, I knew I could save them from the trash heap and put a little bit of money towards my next project. But flipping jet skis isn't my place in this world. I just needed these out of the yard so I can take care of some other projects. Let me show you. Over here I have a small collection of 440s that I've restored. My plan with this one is to take it back to original, using the older, more rare components, and then putting it all on video and showing all the things that make this ski unique. And over here's a 550 hole that I wanted to build up to a class legal racing spec. Just as though somebody wanted to dip their toes into the sport without jumping in head first and spending all the huge amounts of money. And of course, there's always more skis under the trees. But who knows when I'm going to have time for any of that. So keep your peepers peeled to this channel if you want to see it, or subscribe if you don't feel like remembering. I'll see you guys when those videos come out. Thanks for watching this one. See you later.